everyone. Welcome to another episode of the REI Rocketfuel podcast. Today, I have the great pleasure of having my buddy from the Northeast, Greg Helbeck. Are you in New Jersey or New York? Where are you?
I'm in the New York City suburbs. So I'm 45 minutes outside of Manhattan. Yeah, that's right.
Just outside of Manhattan. My buddy Greg Helbeck. Greg, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it's after 5 p.m. where you are, given the time change, if I'm right about that. So thank you for digging into your evening to hop on the show.
My pleasure, buddy. I love being a guest on podcasts. It's always a lot of fun when you don't have to really do any thinking. You just process the questions and go from there.
Right. I for those that don't know, Greg's got his own podcast, Pave the Way podcast. Is that right?
It's called the Real Estate Investing Fast Track now, but formerly Pave the Way podcast, correct?
Formerly Pave the Way, and it's now the Real Estate Investing Fast Track. Is that right?
That's right.
Love it. Love it. And I was a guest back when it was Pave the Way. I loved it. You were the first podcast I was ever on as a guest. And now I jump at the opportunity when anyone else is like, hey, do you want to? I'm like, yep, I sure do. Because that's easy. I get to talk about real estate. I love it. I love it.
Exactly. Makes it easy.
It does. It does. So, Greg, I don't know really anything about your story because the last time we talked, it was all about me and my business and my story. So tell me and tell the audience, how'd you get started? Why'd you get started? Talk to us about how you landed in real estate.
So the way that it went down was it was in 2015. It was late 2015. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was going to college, community college. And, I went to a seminar, basically. I started reading personal development books and all that stuff. And I went to a seminar and they were talking about double closing wholesale deals. And I was like, this sounded interesting to me because I read Rich Dad Poor Dad right before that. And they were talking about real estate. Everyone reads that purple book.
That's right.
And so I went to the seminar. They talked about wholesaling deals. I ended up going and getting upsold into the next seminar. So I paid $2,000 at that point to go learn how to do this business. And me and my friends,
which at the time, I'm sure
a lot of money
$2,000 still is $2,000, but at the time, $2,000 may have felt like 20 or 200 grand.
Yes. In terms of relativity, $2,000 in 2015 was $30,000 now, right?
Yeah.
I was it was half of the money in my bank. And
that's a life-changing amount of money.
Yeah. So it was $1,000 each. So we went 1,000, so 50-50. Went to the seminar and they just really were talking about general overview, how to do real estate, rehabbing, wholesaling, off market, all that stuff. So long story short, after that seminar, I felt like I knew enough and went out there and started taking action. So a lot of people, they love information. They love listening to podcasts like this, but they have a hard time taking action and actually doing the work that is required to get the results that they desire. Right. So started out hanging out bandit signs and going on Craigslist and making posts.
Hell yeah.
Handwriting letters. Yeah. Just kind of marketing. And I didn't know anything about marketing at the time. And I just started getting leads and, getting offers out and had no system or anything like that, no team. And it took me 9 months and I got my first deal done. And it was amazing, but I really didn't know, how to do it over and over again. So after some time, I started to basically slowly but surely get deals every few months. And this is up in the Northeast. It's a really tough market up here.
Yeah.
And I kind of pigeonholed myself because I was in New York. I was stuck here going on appointments and I was really tired of dealing with these attorneys. And I was always complaining about that. And I didn't have a lot of money still. I still was kind of living with my parents and shit. So I was I wonder if this is easier to do in another state. And kind of got the bug of I guess virtual deals. And I didn't really have a desire. It seemed cool, but I was well, let me just try this. So long story short, this was now 2018. And I started going into Texas virtually, calling and texting people. And I was able to lock up these houses with no attorneys. And I found a guy down there who I JV with. Started splitting these deals. And that turned into my business, basically. I started making real money doing that. And I never needed to go to these properties ever. Everything was over the computer and the phone. And I was wow, I don't need to live in New York anymore. So I moved to San Diego, which I still have a place there that I rent. And I was basically just shit, I can do real estate deals now without ever needing to go see them. And obviously our business has evolved since then, and we can get into that later. But that's really how I got into the business. And it took me about 2.5, 3 years to actually make some real money. It wasn't to get rich quick.
Yeah. I want to go back to what you said at the very, very beginning, because I think that is so important, and where a lot of people get hung up, or if they, they get in and they get all the information and they read all the books and podcasts and Instagram, TikTok, and it's all over the place and it's always coming at you, and it's information overload and it's a fire hose, and they don't ever actually do anything with the information. And then the few that do go out and start executing right away, like you did, they think they have to build the big system and they have to have all their ducks in a row and their I's dotted and T's crossed and everything done before they even go put a bandit sign or make one cold call on Craigslist. And it's just about doing the next right thing. Like, you don't need to see the top of the staircase to take the first step. You just take the next one, the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And your story, I fucking love that. That is exactly, that's exactly how I got started. That's exactly how so many other people that have been wildly successful in this business and other businesses that are sales, consumer marketing focused. That's just how you have to get started. You go taste everything. You do the bandit signs, you cold call, you text, you do direct mail, you do online, you do everything, and you find whatever works best for you. And then you go balls deep, an inch wide, 10 miles deep on that sector, on that type of marketing or that type of deal sourcing. And then you master it. And then you can diversify and you can test and play with different stuff down the road. But you got to taste all of it, get your teeth kicked in, get knocked down until something works. And you're like, okay, this is working. And you just go deep into that.
Yeah, man. And a lot of people, they like, it's funny. They like ask me questions now that I guess I'm a little bit of a veteran, and like,
yeah,
they're asking me all these questions and I kind of chuckle, like they want to buy rental properties and they're broke. And I'm like, dude, get your first deal. Like you shouldn't even look at a rental. You have no money. Like,
right.
You got to get your first deal and see if you like this business. And if you like this business and you do your first deal, then you can go focus on getting your next deal and then do 10 deals.
Right.
And then see if you like the business, and don't even consider buying rentals until you have like 50 grand in the bank at least. Right. You know what I mean? Like they read the books, and like, I get why the books say that, because 100%.
Like 100%.
That's the end game. But yeah, you got to focus on making cash in the business up front.
And it's like, people, so we're heavy wholesale. That's a huge piece of our business. And a lot of our local buyers that I've got good relationships with, we'll see each other out to drinks or dinner or whatever. And they're always like, dude, I got to ask, like, why aren't you taking these deals down? Like, why aren't you buying more rentals and like setting yourself up for just the cash flow off of these? And I'm like, do you know how many rental properties I would have to cash flow the same amount of money from our wholesale business every month?
Like you need like 150.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the wholesale business that spits off cash every month, that's an asset. Yes. Just like a duplex or an apartment complex or 100 single family rental homes. But it's like, and you guys don't get any fucking deals if I take them all. And I don't have unlimited capital or human capital. Like I've got restrictions on contractors and lending and money. Like I'm not a bazillionaire. Like I can't buy every single one of our deals, and not every single one fits into the buy box. But the main answer is, do you know how many rental properties these newbie people that are like, hey, like I want to get into rental because I read about cash flow. I'm like, go build a business in real estate that cash flows. Go wholesale a whole bunch of deals. There's your freaking cash flow. And you want to talk about something that gets your hooks in you and doesn't let go, is a $15,000, $20,000, $5,000 assignment check from cold calling someone. Are you kidding me? That will get your hooks in you, and you'll do 50 fucking deals if you're good at it.
Yeah, that's something that people, man, I like how we're having this conversation, because I didn't buy my first rental property until 2020, dude. And I
don't think I bought mine until 2019, and I got into real estate in 2015.
And I kind of reluctant to do it too. Like I was like, it was a deal where like I kind of had to close it, and I got it so cheap. I'm like, I might as well just keep it. But I'll tell you what, dude, like, I'm a landlord. I've had properties. I still buy properties. if I can curse, dude, fucking landlording is a pain in the ass, man.
It is. It is,
It's
man.
a fucking pain in the ass, dude. Nobody talks about it. There's always a problem. There's always a fixing.
Yep.
Like, I don't do it for the cash flow. I could honestly kiss my ass for the cash flow because it doesn't really amount to anything that my actual business makes.
Right.
It's a long-term wealth preservation and it's a tax.
And it's taxes. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
I don't give a fuck about the dude. I have I have a property down the street from here. Well, it's 20 minutes from here right now. And it took me 2 years to evict the tenant. I just renovated it. I've been sitting on that house vacant now for like 2 months now. And I still haven't rented it out because I don't care. Like, I'm kind of staying there a little bit. Like, I'm going back and forth. It's like an office. But like,
oh, nice.
The point is, like, I don't use the rental business to like make money. Like, I use it to like just hold equity, and a lot of the properties pay for themselves. But like, yeah, I mean, you're better off building a flipping, brokerage, or wholesaling business before you start fucking around with rental properties, for sure.
Right. Yeah. And like, it's like in wrapping this up, at least on my end, so we can get into the rest of the show. But yeah, I think that, you see it and you read about it all the time. Like, the average millionaire has 7 income streams. And I'm like, yeah, but they made their money in one of them.
Yes.
They got to be a millionaire in 1 or 2 of those income streams, maybe 2. Yeah. And then they said, okay, I'm rich and have too much money. Now I need to diversify. Now they have 7, 8, 10, 20 income streams from different businesses and holdings and stuff. But if you're just talking about getting there, you don't get there by being spread so thin that you're like, well, I got to have 7 income streams. No, you need to go neck deep into one of them, make a shitload of money, and then you can say, okay, I have a problem. I have too much cash. I need to diversify. Then you can get you can have as many fucking income streams as you want, but you got to make your money in one of them.
100%, dude. That's very good advice, and people need to take it seriously, because I just see so many people out there. Like, listen, I do sub 2 deals now. I do all that kind of crazy shit.
Sure.
But I've fucking been in the game for a while. Right.
Like, you know what you're getting into, and you can sign these contracts with confidence that I'm either going to sub to it, I'll close on it and keep it as a rental, or I'll just assign it, because you know the people and you know the options, and you know that you will be able to perform the terms of that contract. But
I'm buying my first sub 2 deal in 2 weeks, and I've been doing this business for 5.5, 6 years. Right.
Let's talk about that deal if you can. You don't have to give the address or anything.
I mean, listen, it's not closed yet, so I'll get more excited when it goes to settlement. But long story short, this just came in last week. It was an internet SEO lead, which we do a lot of. And the bottom line is, the guy hadn't paid his loan for a while, and he was behind $15,000 on his mortgage, which in Delaware is a lot of money. And I think he has an unpaid principal balance of $214, but then he got a fucking another mortgage of like $40 that was supposed to assist him, but he never did anything with it. Nice. So long story short, we're gonna have to spend about 27. I'm actually gonna partner up with my acquisitions manager on the deal to go.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we're gonna bring about 27.
And this is one that's in your backyard. This is one that's local to you.
This is in Delaware. He lives in Delaware, so it makes sense. So, which we do a lot of business down there. But anyway, so we're going to have to come to the table with about 30 grand, about 20, let's call it 30 grand to just get the deal done with closing costs and catching the loan up. That property should sell around 350 as is. So we'll probably put maybe 5 grand into it, right? Maybe 5 grand.
Clean it up a bit.
Yeah, we're going to have to make the mortgage payment for probably 4 months, I'd say the whole time's going to be. So listen, if it all shakes out, we should make 30 grand, right, if we're lucky, and we'll have to spend about 35, 40 grand. So listen, not a home run deal by any stretch of the means, but the way I look at it is like, if I'm going to invest $30,000 of capital to make $35,000 in net profit, to doubling your money, right? So that's how I look at it. Yeah.
I would call that a home run.
Listen, we do deals in California where we make 130 grand. So like that's kind of how I look at it.
Fair enough. Right. But a home run of a sub 2 deal.
Yes.
That's a home run sub 2 where you got to,
and it would rent out,
and your 30 turns into 65.
Yes.
70. That's a home run of a sub 2.
That's a good deal. I'm a little biased because we're in like the Northeast in San Diego. So like we get some deals that are home runs, but like the thing with that deal though, is like, I've been doing this for a long time. And backup plan on that deal, it's like, it sounds cool to go sub 2, but you need to realize you're taking over somebody's fucking mortgage. So you need to know what you're doing. So our backup plan is if that doesn't fucking work out, the flip, I'll rent it out. Yeah. And it's fine. Right. It'll rent for $2,000 a month.
Because you probably have a low enough interest rate and it's more than likely amortized over 30.
Yes.
Because it was an owner occupant. So your monthly debt service is going to be so low. Shit, renting it out might be the better play anyway. But if you can turn around and turn your 30 into 65 in 4 months, show me another asset class you can do that in.
Nowhere.
I mean, come on. Come on. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a deal, man. If I had the bell like Brent Daniels does on his show, I would
yeah, he's a maniac, that guy.
I'd be ringing that shit right now. We have a deal bell in our conference room that every week at sales meeting, when we have new deals, our sales guys get up there and rip that thing out of the fucking wall. But it's not in my office because I need to be able to hear for the rest of my life. So it stays in the conference room. So
there you go.
So in all of your travels, in all of your journey in real estate, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned, or the biggest mistake, I guess, that you've made that's led to a lesson of like, if I could give just like everyone's got that one, like I immediately know mine when someone asks, like just that one that comes to mind. It's like that was a mistake.
You need to be able to have more than one exit strategy. Because you're going to have opportunities, at least where I do business. It's not like it's the Northeast, so it's pretty tight competitive.
Sure.
There are going to be opportunities when you might think you're a wholesaler, but if you were able to look at the deal from a different lens, you can make 4 times the amount of money just by closing on it. Same thing in Southern California, because I still live there.
Or at least what we've found locally, and maybe this isn't the case in your markets, vice versa. Like we started out flipping heavy. Like we flipped a ton. And it's like looking back on some of the deals that we made $10,000, $15,000 on after a $40,000 renovation. It's like, dude, we could have just assigned that for $10,000 or $12,000 and not held on to it and risked the capital and had to remodel it. Whereas sometimes it's like, we're going to wholesale this. And it's like, oh man, we got stuck with it. Now we got to flip it. We've seen deals go the opposite way of like, oh, we're going to flip this house. And it's like, I don't know. We got an offer for a $20,000 assignment and we're projecting all goes well, $27,000 on this.
Oh, well, that's a no-brainer. Like, that's a no-brainer.
We're going to go ahead and punt that deal just to sign it, take it down the road, move on to the next deal.
Yeah, no, if that's the case, that I'm talking like deals where I make 30 wholesaling it, but I could have made 95 flipping it.
Woo!
That's the market we're in though. Like that's the area that we play in. So like it's very expensive here. Like, the median price is 500,000 in San Diego. It's like 700,000. So, and even Delaware, like 350. Yeah. So like
we're like 200,000.
Yeah, no, we're not even close to that. That's the thing. It's like, it's a very different market. So like in your market,
our house is your kitchen.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So like in your area, I would imagine like if you make 30 grand on a rehab, that would consider that a pretty good win.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. If you go in and do a flip on a house and you can net out 30 to 40, that is a deal.
That's a tight deal in my market.
Great.
That's a tight deal.
God, really?
30 grand is horrible. I mean, because dude, the sales price is 550.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're like your internal rate of return on that's like
not good. 30 grand is bad.
It's like, yeah, okay.
You want to make in our area, like you want to try to make 10 to 12% of the ARV.
Okay.
Minimum. So it's 550, you want to bare minimum make 55 grand. Cause you got to think about the point. The reason I said that, you asked me that question, it's in, at least if you're in a very expensive market like me, and Delaware is actually pretty expensive, believe it or not, which I didn't know until I started doing it. Yeah. I mean, it's not as, I thought it was going to be like dirt cheap houses. It's not. Right. You're selling houses for 400 grand there all day long.
Jeez. Like,
yeah.
Rental property or like
no, like a 4-bed house in a nice neighborhood in Newark, Delaware is 400 grand, 450. Yeah.
Now you're selling though, like who's buying that? Investors, like buy and hold, or is that like
no? That's an
owner occupant,
retail buyer. Yeah.
Okay, buyer. I was gonna say, what are they renting that thing for? It's like
no, that's a problem down there. The rents aren't that great. The rents
Gotcha.
are low. It's
Okay.
lower income. But anyway, so like when I started out, I only wholesaled for the most part because I didn't have a lot of money, right? I remember the first, well, not the first deal. One of the first properties I decided to like actually take down and like get a hard money loan and like put my ball sack on the line.
Yeah, man.
I made $101,000 on that fucking deal. Listen, it's the market I'm in is great. Like it's just in an expensive area. Yeah, yeah.
I'm ringing the bell that I don't have.
Here's the point of that though. At that time, I mean, if I knew what I knew now, I probably could have wholesaled it for 75, 80, but like this was many years ago. If I were to wholesale that deal back in the day, I would have made 35 to 40 grand on that. But I decided to close on that house after being in the business for a while. And I made 101 grand net, like net on that deal. And I still fucked that up. If I knew what I knew now, I would have made like 160, right? Because you just learn shit, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So the point I'm trying to say is, and I don't do deals like that every month. That happens a couple times a year, right? Because we just do enough marketing.
Well,
but the
shit,
point
even
is this,
if it does,
that one deal like is one transaction that's 100,000. How many $20,000 wholesalers would I have had to do to deal with 5 sellers, 5 buyers, 5 escrows, 5 attorneys? Like, so if you can understand, this is the key here for people listening. If you really know how to underwrite a deal and you understand how to make the deal make financial sense and you know your market and your numbers, there are going to be opportunities, at least if they're in the Northeast or Southern California or somewhere where it's expensive, where if instead of wholesaling it, if you can just find a way to close on it, you're going to make triple, quadruple what you would make, even if you wholesaled it for the top of the wholesale market. So I'm not saying wholesale or never wholesale. I'm saying like there are going to be home runs that come across your plate, and you really need to understand how to maximize those deals because like we just did one earlier this year in San Diego, made 134 grand on it or something like
was that your
like
condo?
no, that was a single. That other one, that one we made like freaking 68 on. Like so, like
go baby.
You got like the thing is, you have to know when to strike when the opportunity's there. That's my main point. Like most of our wholesale deals are anywhere from like $18,000 to $40,000, like assignment fees. That's like it kind of ranges in between 18 and 40. Sometimes we'll get the bigger ones, but for the most part, if we're going to take a property and like renovate it, our goal is to make at least 10% of what it will sell for, right? So if we're doing stuff in Delaware for 350, 400, we want to make 35 to 40. This is net profit. Right. If we're in San Diego, we want to make 65 to 70, right? Because we're just kind of following the median price point. So you really need to, if you're new, you want to focus on wholesaling. But once you have some experience, you don't want to throw these wholesale deals away when you can make 3, 4, 5 times on just to fucking clean it up. Like sometimes you don't have to renovate. You just buy it, close on it, throw it on the market. You'll sell it for, 3, 4 times what you would have made wholesaling it. And like that really does change your life. Because if you can make $80,000 on a deal, you would have made 40 on wholesaling. One swing. I mean, there's real value there. So definitely don't overlook certain deals, and they have to be in the right area. You have to know your market. But I started doing that like not that long ago, and it's made me a lot of money.
I bet. Holy moly, dude.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, not everyone's in an expensive market. So, like, it's like this is like good advice if you're listening. But like, if you're in the Midwest or somewhere, like, yeah, like you can make big deals happen, but it's just going to be a little harder. But you're going to have more lead flow. You're going to have more deals. It's going to be easier to do volume. Like the sellers in my area are fucking smart, dude. They know what's on.
No one just owns a house in San Diego and doesn't know that San Diego is fucking bananas.
That doesn't exist. Yeah. Same with New York. And even Delaware, they're kind of stupid, but no one's hearing that from me. But yeah, it's a different, listen, you're going to be doing less volume, but you're going to be doing bigger spreads. That's what I've kind of found out.
Right. Which I don't know. I feel like on the surface, it's like, God, who wouldn't want that? I feel like I would go crazy. Like I love that we've always got 10, 15 in different stages at any given time. I love the volume and the speed of the deals.
Yeah.
It sounds in theory like sweet, like I make the same money every year, but do half the volume. It's like, who wouldn't want to do that? I feel like I would go stir crazy.
Now we still do good volume, but it's just some deals are like we'll get on average like 6 to 8 deals a month is like our average kind of like thing. So it's not over 10, right? So, 6 to 8 deals a month, you'll probably get 4 or 5 of them to actually close because of all the bullshit.
Yep.
So we're still doing like about a deal a week, but
damn, that's solid. Okay.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't like that until like the last year. Like before that, we were doing 3 to 4 a month, right? And I had a small team, like one person. Now we have more people, more overhead, more deals. But a lot of people make the mistake is they they go from having no team to having this massive
team.
And that's how you get in trouble.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I could not agree more.
You got to really do that the right way. You got to do that strategically, or else you can really put yourself in a tough spot as a business owner.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't agree more. You speak from experience there, because I do.
Yeah. And just like, it becomes too big of a beast to handle. Like I have friends where really they got in trouble. Like they had, because think about it, like if your overhead, let's say and this is more like kind of like business stuff. I know like talking real estate, but like
that's fine,
let's say your overhead is $5,000 a month and you have no employees.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hire 5 team members. So you have 6 of you, including yourself. And your overhead with marketing included goes from $5,000 a month, $70,000 a month, right? Let's say you have some salaries on there.
Yep.
Now you need to basically do almost $1 million a year, a little less than $1 million a year, just to break even.
Right.
Now, if you're doing that and you're taking more risk on, you're going to want to make more net. So you're basically, you're going to have to be doing almost $2 million a year to make 7 figures. So it works. You can do it, but you just need to know, like, if you're going to do that,
understand the economics of it.
Yeah. You got to really understand your cash conversion cycle and all that stuff. Like, cause or else you could really get in trouble. Like I know guys like in San Diego, for example, they have no team members, no employees. They're making well over $1 million a year net. Cause that market is like, you can transact 2 deals a month. You make even if you make $50,000 a deal, you're making $100,000 a month. Let's say your overhead is 10 because of marketing. You're fucking making 7 figures, right? So the point is this, like, there's a lot of ways to do very well in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one size fits all. I know guys who have teams of 50. I know guys who have teams of 1. And both of those guys make 7 figures, right? Both of those guys are millionaires. So it really depends on what you want to do. And you don't need to go online and see what everyone's doing and just copy them. Like you could do that if you want, but like if you just want to have like no job and make some money without having to fucking go to houses, like you could do that too. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like I've been there, done that as well.
Right. Yeah. And that's I was definitely guilty of when our wholesale business really took off. It took off hockey stick. Like we went from not even existing to doing 100 deals a year.
Yeah. It's big. That's year. That's great. Yeah.
And I hired too many too fast because I was like, we're going to keep hockey sticking. And then we didn't, which we're still at a good clip, but I didn't need to hire as many as I did so fast. And so there was some tough conversations of back it up, back it down.
Yep.
And now we're a team of 3. Me, operations director, 1 acquisitions guy. And the acquisitions does the acquisitions and the dispositions both.
Okay.
And then we've got a team of contractors, but those are all subs. And lean now. And man, it is.
I have a very similar setup, dude. I have 3 full-time people. They all make real money. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just better. I feel it feels more intimate. Like, you can connect them better. They can make more money because there's more money to go around because there's less overhead, right?
Absolutely.
So I think in the economy we're in right now with the real estate market, which is still strong, by the way.
Oh, gosh.
It's phenomenal. This is the route a lot of people are going to start taking.
Yeah.
Because when you have a big market shift like we had last year where the interest rates went up by 5 points, like, that's going to fuck your shit up, right? Like if you have a big business with big bills and you have even a 20% drop, like you're going to lose some money, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
you want to consolidate.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
We were lucky. I was lucky, I guess, in the dispositioning of the people that were in the roles. Like one of them went back to school. One of them went and, decided that they wanted to focus more on flipping their own houses. And then there was only one that I actually had to let go. But the other two went back to school. One wanted to go do his own thing. And then the other one was the one I had to let go. So we had 4 people kind of rotate out in about a 6-month period. And only one of them was one that I was like, you gotta go. And the other 3 kind of took themselves out. And I was like, that's nice. Like, whew, I was needless to say, we didn't offer them a raise or beg them to stay.
Yeah, they kind of saw the writing on the wall.
Best way this could have all shook out. Yeah. So, yeah.
Totally, man.
It was good. I hear you. So you're bi-coastal. You're a nationwide buyer. What kind of properties are you buying? And where specifically are you buying? There might be some JV people in these markets that are listening in.
Yeah, so most of our stuff is either in the tri-state area, which is New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, mainly the Hudson Valley, which is like a core suburb of New York City.
Yeah.
And then Delaware, my acquisitions guy lives in Delaware, Brett. He actually does deals with me as well as a partner. So
that's cool.
We buy a lot in Delaware because he's there. We buy in New York because I'm from there and I still spend a considerable amount of time here.
Yeah.
And then in San Diego, I don't do a lot of marketing there. I do buy deals from wholesalers and stuff because I do live there for like half the year. So, I would say on average, we'll do like 2 deals a year in San Diego, and then we'll do 48 deals a year up in the Northeast of Delaware, all the way Delaware basically up to New York.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And single families, duplexes,
mostly single families, condos. I love condos, by the way. I love them.
Really?
I don't know why. Like, they're fucking great. Like, the HOA is the only thing that could be a problem, but if you just get that, you're fine. Single families, condos. I will do a duplex or 3plex, but I don't know. We don't really market to that many of them. I don't know. I've just found that they're great, but like there's a lot more houses than duplexes out there, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and I like condos a lot. Yeah, I like condos a lot. When you if the HOA is cool, then condos, in my opinion, are fucking sometimes better than houses if you're renovating because you can't really fuck up a condo. Fair. Yeah, I mean, because we've done condos and like, I mean, as long as the HOA is not out of control and they're friendly to investors and they'll let you rent, etc.
I was just going to ask, like, how often does that not happen? Is it 50-50 where
very rare that a condo will fuck you, like you'll get fucked by the HOA? I mean, because a lot of them will have a first right of refusal, but they don't have the money to buy the property, which means that they know
before you buy it if the HOA is good, or is it like a
you'll find out in escrow. You'll find out when you're in contract at the title office because you have to get an HOA packet from the HOA.
And it has to get approved that you're going to, yeah.
Got to get approved.
Okay.
But the thing with condos I like is that you really can't fuck up the rehab that bad because you're renovating walls, floors, kitchen, bathrooms, maybe electric.
Right. Like you're not moving anything.
No, you're not. You don't have foundation because then the whole building would be fucked up. You don't have roof because they do that.
Fair enough.
Windows you might have, but how many windows are in a condo? Like 6 max? Like, you know what I mean? So
unless you're in a fucking penthouse.
Yeah, I mean that's
like unless you're Greg Helbeck living in a penthouse in San Diego, then you're probably
you're in my house. Even my house is expensive, but I rent it from the landlord, so it's like
hell yeah.
But anyway, so I like condos for that reason, and then you can figure out it's very easy to comp out condos. Fair. They're all the same.
Yeah. Easy enough.
They're all the same. You know what they're going to sell for easily.
So you're just in San Diego and the tri-state and Delaware. You said earlier there was some stuff in Texas. Is that?
Yeah, that was in 2018 and 19.
So you're done with that now. You're not in Texas anymore.
Yeah, the only reason I stopped doing deals in Texas is because I basically ran out of people to market to. So all I was doing down there, I'll just be an open book. I was finding all the tax delinquent leads in Dallas County. And I was putting those leads through a fucking vacant flag. Yeah. And I was finding these like really niche fucked up properties.
Yeah.
I was calling them and texting them and getting a bunch of deals. And after doing that for 2 years, there was only so many people who were, you could do that with. And I had like 800 of them in my database and I've already made like 300 grand from that. So I was like, all right, I can do this in Houston or I could just spend some money on marketing. Cause like it took a lot of time to do those deals.
I was just going to say, and I think that's something that, like you talked about earlier, no one talks about how hard it is to be a landlord. No one really talks about the economics of like getting started in a wholesale or like deal sourcing of any kind of business, where in the beginning, more often than not, you have all of the time and none of the money and the resources. So you have to let your constraints drive the creativity in your business, and you have to find really, really, really niche lists, because you're going to be spending all of your time calling and texting and dealing with that list, and you want to make the best possible use of your time. Niche it down to the ridiculous. Like, I only want tax lien, bank or foreclosure notice, bankruptcy notice, 3 or more bedroom, 1,000 square feet. Like, get really, really niche.
That's good advice.
And then when you exhaust that list, then you can start to, okay, maybe I'll include 2 beds in here too. Like, let's get crazy and start doing 2 bedrooms as well. And then eventually you reach the trade-off where now you have more money and resources than you do time. And now you can do, and you're the perfect example of why you left doing it in Texas. It's the perfect example of, okay, now you have money. Now you can market and really scale your business and pay for marketing, where you don't have to be tied to your phone or your computer 11 hours a day, smiling and dialing to get 2 deals a month. You can spend $5,000 a month on marketing and get 4 deals a month. It's like there you're seeing those economies of scale, but so many people jump in and they start marketing. And it's like, bro, that's all the money you had.
Yeah. You should do that. You should use your time wisely, dude. That's good advice. Cause like, I was like, dude, if you have time on your hands and you're willing to like fucking do some work, like
just get
you can find these niche properties, man. They're like, dude, it's like, it really, like, if you can get like a code vio or a tax delinquent or a foreclosure list and go on like Invelo or Batch Leads or one of those REI SIFT, whatever, and fucking just parse out all the vacant properties that are on that niche list and just call them, like, they're not all going to want to sell, but the few who do are going to be wanting to sell at a discount. Like, I've proven that fucking thing to work.
They're going to be motivated as hell.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they don't know they didn't get a foreclosure notice. Like, if that shit's on public record and you pulled it on a list and you know they got a foreclosure notice, they know they got a foreclosure notice. Like, this isn't news. Like, you're not the one calling them and saying, you're going to lose your house. They fucking know.
100%. And then like another, like the other piece of that, which is why people get fucked, is like in the beginning is like they've never had to professionally communicate with somebody to get someone to do something. Yeah. And they wonder why they can't get deals. Like, until you speak to like 100 sellers, like you're not even gonna have a shot, right?
Like, dude, it's just reps. It's just reps. There's no script. There's no easy button. There's no anything. It's just reps. Like, the only way to make good barbecue is to start out by making bad barbecue. Yes. And the only way to get good at talking to people on the phone or over text or
is to talk to people on the phone.
Talk to people on the phone and get screamed at and suck at it and want to hang it all up. But you just make the next call and you make the next one and you make, like, nobody wants to make 100 calls a day. Nobody fucking wants to, but you do it anyway. And that's where that's where the rubber meets the road. That's what separates the people that end up succeeding in this business and the ones that don't.
Yeah, no, it's really, it just comes down to doing the work every day. And like, if you're like marketing to like a really good list, like, you need to have some sales skills to help you, but like you could be a fucking moron and still get a deal over time.
Good marketing can hide
bad salespeople.
100%. 100%.
I mean, dude, when I started, like, my whole pitch was like, hey, you owe like 30 grand in taxes. Right. You didn't think you owned the property because your parents gave it to you and they don't have a will. If I gave you 15 grand over what you owe, would you sell to me? And they would say yes. And I would write the fucking contract saying $15,000 over what is owed. Yeah. What is owed to be determined by title. So it was like, I wasn't that good at sales, but like I found someone who had this piece of shit and like they were going to do nothing with it. And now I told them to get some money for it. And they were like, sure.
You're like, you are the real estate Jesus Christ. Like, you this is the greatest phone call I've ever received. Like, if you can, like, we talk about it all the time. Like, if like the bigger the problem you can solve, the more money you can make.
Oh yeah.
And if you find someone that has a tax delinquency or a foreclosure or like a pending bankruptcy, like, if you can help them out of there and bail them out of this situation, you really just changed the trajectory, like changed big time, got rid of a headache on someone's plate. That's awesome. That's the benefit of, you know, being in the direct to seller. There are some assholes out there that's like, dude, I wish we didn't help you on this deal. Like,
I got a laundry list of those people.
Right, but we're making money, so
whatever
kind of thing. Like,
I just had a guy file a police report on me the other day, actually.
No, for what?
Seller. So I'll tell you the story. So this is in Delaware.
Oh my God.
Of course it's in Delaware, right? So long story short, he was like adamant on closing on St. Patrick's Day, which was not part of our deal. So I told him, we can't do that. We're going to have to close. This was last week, so on Friday. And he's like, I need to have the settlement done by 12 o'clock. And I said, we're going to try our best to close by 12, but there's a lot of things that are out of our control that could stall that thing from closing at 12. So it turns out the FedEx documents got stuck overnight somewhere. So they had to drive the buyer, a wholesale, the buyer had to drive like the fucking originals down to Dover, because this was, they lived in Newcastle, but the house was in Dover, about an hour south.
Okay.
So they hand drove the documents. That was after 12 o'clock. And then the wire didn't hit till 3:45. So the seller thought I scammed him. And he filed a police report on me.
No way.
Stick his foot up. Yeah, he told me to go stick something up my ass that I probably shouldn't. And then he got kicked out of the lawyer's office. They fucking escorted him out of there. He was slamming the doors, like staring at all the fucking paralegals like he was going to kill him. It was fucking crazy. And then we ended up closing it on Monday, and he was happy as a clam. So the point is this: you're going to be dealing with crazy people if you're dealing with like off-market sellers who are on some fucking list that you pulled from PropStream. Like, you're going to be dealing with some crazy people, and that's normal. Right.
And if they're not like crazy, that's insane. We've never had anyone file a police report on us. We have had to send a mobile notary from the title company to jail. A prison.
Yeah, that's very common.
The seller was in prison. Well, half of the LLC was in prison, and I was like, this is bananas. So the mobile notary went in there and like slid it under the little plexiglass, and like,
guys on the phone, like,
yeah, talking in the phone. Okay, line 32 is the prorated tax, and I was like, this is bananas. But we closed the deal and made like 25 grand, so it was an awesome assignment. Like,
that's amazing.
Hats off to Kansas Secured Title in Wichita, Kansas for making that happen. So that was awesome. Why do you think, and I think I know the answer to this just based on the last 10 minutes of conversation, why do you think you've been so successful in real estate at such a young age when so many other people of all ages haven't?
Because I'm relentless. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, I will not stop until I get what I want, right? Like, especially in the beginning when like you have nothing, right? Like, so I mean, I just was committed to fucking winning. Like, I didn't care. I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it's still hard. You just have different problems nowadays.
Right.
Like, I just was like, I'm going to fucking make this work. Like, there's too many people who have had this. There's too many people who've made a bunch of money. Like, for me to not be one of those people who are making a bunch of money, fucking hitting my goals and my dreams. So like, dude, I was just determined in the beginning it was going to work. And I knew if I did the work and got better every day, like over time, and if I made enough offers, like it would work out. And I mean, I really think it's persistence, man. I've always been persistent. I've always been like very determined, even when I was like a little small kid. Like, I've always been very motivated. Maybe that's luck. I don't know. But like, I just always like, I just was always like fucking motivated. Like, I was always consistent if I liked something. Yeah. See, I was the kind of guy though, if I didn't like something, I tuned the fuck out. Right.
Yeah, so was out, gone.
I was gone. But like with something I liked, I was obsessed with it. So like that was real estate, and it still is real estate. And I think the more you have success, because listen, there's no success without getting fucking kicked in the balls, right?
Oh,
so like,
dude.
Yeah. So like the more you realize like how it works, and listen, I'm fucking only been doing this for 7 years. There's guys who've been doing this for 17, 20 years, right? So there's a lot for me to do too. But the more you make money, the more you realize, oh, okay, that came from doing this. And you can start to put the pieces together. And then it doesn't become easier. You just get better, which makes it seem like it's easier. And then you
100%.
can turn it into a business. But yeah, I mean, I talk to a lot of people and they ask me questions that I get why they're asking them questions. But the truth is, if you can just get really good at generating leads and making offers in the beginning, everything else will take care of itself. Like people are like, well, Greg, I don't have the money for a deal. Well, I'll tell you what, if you have a really good fucking deal, if you don't have the money for it, someone will buy it wholesale, or, someone will partner with you. But like people like mentally masturbate over the stupid shit like business cards, LLCs, like dumb shit. They don't fucking do the actual work, which is prospecting or marketing, depending on your budget and your time. And making offers. Like the one brick that builds this business that gets you to become a millionaire or whatever the fuck you want to get is making offers.
Yeah.
That's it. Everything else is like it's a mic drop right there. Because I've never bought a house I didn't make an offer on. Well, the core KPI we track in our company is fucking offers. How many offers were made today? Everything is tracked. It's on a dashboard. It's on a spreadsheet. Like we fucking know how many offers we made. And if we're not on track to hit our goals, we're like, fuck, we're probably not making enough offers.
We need to make more offers. That is money. We track essentially the same metric. What we track is appointment to offer ratio.
Oh, that's really good.
If that drops below 100%, we got a fucking problem. Every appointment we're on, I don't care if we are $500,000 apart, we make a fucking offer. 100% appointment to offer ratio. That it's not a rule. It's not an expectation. It's not a goal. That is bare minimum on our team. 100% appointment to offer ratio, or we need to fix something. And we look at that every Tuesday at sales meeting when we're looking over metrics with the whole team there. So the sales, and you know what I love about, or what I've learned about salespeople, even from being a salesperson, and I was a damn good one. You know who loves report card day?
The fucking winners.
A students. You know who hates report card day?
Fucking
B
losers.
Students.
Yeah.
The sales guys
I'm gonna steal that from you.
That get fucking excited when it's Tuesday at 11 a.m. at One Roof World headquarters, and we're sitting in here and they're like, I had 29 conversations last week, went on 9 appointments, made 9 offers, got 2 new contracts. That is an A, the one that's excited, the one that's like, I don't know, what do the numbers say? I went on 15. Oh, get out. Like A students get pumped for report card day. And we got report card day every Tuesday at 11.
Dude, that's a fucking nugget right there, man. Especially when you have other people. It's like, if you're a high performer, you're not going to be scared over the number. Like,
no, love it. You love standing in the room with your boss and saying, look what I'm doing. Look how much I'm excelling. Who doesn't want that? Losers, C player, D players, ones that can't get it done consistently.
Totally, bro. Woo! That's fucking golden, bro. That's golden.
Get me going. I don't know. The market changing, and you've really got a unique perspective because you're bi-coastal. You're everywhere except the Midwest, which good. Stay away. Get out of here. How do you see your strategies changing in the next 3, 6, 12, 18 months, so whatever time frame you want to assign to it? How do you see your strategies changing?
So our markets are like, let's not count San Diego. Let's just do a couple deals a year there, and that's about it. So like in terms of like the Northeast and Delaware, there's very strong inventory, or there's very strong demand. There's very low inventory. So we're definitely underwriting a little bit more conservatively, and underwriting just means evaluating offers basically. So the market is still really strong here, and it's, in my opinion, it'll continue to be strong because everyone can accept now that interest rates are at the numbers they're at.
Yeah.
So all the real buyers are in the market, and they are just willing to pay the higher interest rates. So we still have a big inventory issue. There's not a lot of homes for sale. And when a good home comes on the market for sale, that's keyword is priced right, it's going to sell quickly. Right. Same thing with rental demand. It's the same thing. Yeah. What we're doing.
So I'm an owner in a brokerage in Wichita as well. And one of my partners listed a house that, I mean, in our market, it's a great starter home, 4-bed, 2-bath. It's not redone by any means, but it's cute. It's fine. And it listed at 199, which, stay with me, that's very average in Wichita. That's not like a screaming deal. Like, it wasn't a $300,000 house that got listed for 200. It was a $200,000 house that got listed for 200. 67 showings in 48 hours, 11 offers, sold for 25,000 over ask cash.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
In January, I forgot who was on the podcast, but it was someone local in Wichita. And we talked about it at length, that in January, it was like mid to late January. So 2 months ago, we talked about, we've already bounced off the bottom in the Midwest. And it was, December was kind of scary. And it was like, okay, what's going to happen here? This could be a year of like, a lot of agents are going to go be bartenders part-time kind of thing. Like, what's happening? And I think we bounced off really fast, and we still have a huge inventory problem. Ours in the Midwest right now is like 4 to 1. Like, we need 4 times the inventory just to get it balanced.
Yeah, that's not exactly. And then what you're saying, it's like, this is like, listen, I was not doing real estate in 2008. I was in middle school. So like,
that's my biggest financial mistake, is that I was in grade school in 2009 instead of buying houses.
Yeah.
My biggest financial mistake.
Here's the deal with that though. Like, I've watched enough stuff on it and read about it. So in the last real big housing crash, when like the whole fucking world melted, basically, the entire reason that failed was not because of interest rates. It was because people could not afford the properties they were getting. And it was so easy to get a mortgage. Like, there were fucking people who were strippers and they had 17 houses. So now it's not easy to get a mortgage, especially with the fucking rates being high. So the people who are actually buying the properties can hopefully afford them. At least on paper, they can afford them. So the only real problem I could see being the case is like, if for some reason the unemployment went up like by 25% or something insane.
Like,
and everyone lost their fucking
job market.
Yeah, like maybe that would probably cause a problem. But like, I don't really see that, right? Like, I don't see that. Maybe it comes up, maybe the unemployment goes up a little bit, but like, really the interest rates too are all based upon the 10-year treasury.
Right.
And, once the fucking Fed feels like they've reduced the inflation enough, they're going to slowly let the interest rates go back down, which will ultimately keep driving the housing market up.
Right.
That's just the way it works, right? So you got to stay on top of the treasury, and, you got to know your local market too. Because listen, if you're in Boise, Idaho, that's a different fucking story.
Right.
Than Boston, right? It's all different. So you got to know your local market, and you got to.
Yeah. I mean, you need to understand the macro and the microeconomics of the housing market. Like, you need, like, in Wichita, we're always, or I would say just in the Midwest in general, we're usually a year or two behind the coasts. So I've always been in touch with the macro and the micro markets. And it's like, I can see these trends happening on the coasts, and they're going to trickle their way to the Midwest. And we've been able to stay ahead of little things like that just by staying in touch with really being an expert locally, but being able to speak intelligently about the macroeconomics of the real estate market.
I agree. For sure.
Yeah. What's your best piece of advice for a new investor? Someone who is on the fence about getting started. They haven't made the commitment to not even full time, but just to start investing in real estate. Do
your first deal and see if you like it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that would be,
man, that is the every single person's answer is just do a deal. Like, just
commit. You got to go all in. You got to say no matter what.
Buy a house, fix it up, like, do it yourself. Just like, though you could do everything wrong for 10 years and you'll still make money on that house, statistically speaking.
Yeah, I would just do a deal. I mean, I would say that if you just do a deal and see if you're like, don't like commit to doing a deal. Like, you could fucking commit to being the next Trump or something, but like just commit to fucking being like just doing a deal. And then as long as you follow that commitment and you get your first deal done, then you can decide if you want to do another deal or if you don't like it, right? Because some people might do a deal and say, fuck that, I hate that, I'm not doing it again.
Right.
But at least you did a deal and you did what you say you're going to do. So I would say new investors, commit to doing your first deal. If you really want to do real estate that bad, it might take you a while like me when I started, but commit to doing a house, whether it's a wholesale or a flip or buy a rental property, and then decide after that if you want to continue with the business or not. And you might want to. I mean, if you do a wholesale deal and you make 30 grand on your first deal, you probably want to do another deal.
Be like, yeah, this was pretty nice.
Yeah. So I think you'll be happy with what you find out. Yeah, do a deal and see if you like it, but don't like fucking overeducate yourself either. That's another problem. Like people, like they just read books all day and they don't fucking make any offers. So don't let education get in the way of making offers, right? That's the truth.
Yeah. Well said. Greg, how can people in the tri-state area, Delaware, or San Diego, California get in touch with you if they have a deal or they want a JV on something?
Yeah, they can email me. I'll give them my email address. That's probably the best way. I check that, 4 or 5 times a day. Greg, Greg, at velocityhousebuyers.com. That's VELOCITYHOUSE. B as in boy, UYERS as in Sam.com. The reason I say it like that, and I'll end on this note, is because on a property I did one time over in Rockland County, I said Greg at velocityhousebuyers.com. I said it like really fast. And I got the insurance bill at the fucking house and it said house fires. Like I'm putting out a fire. Oh. And I was like, oh man, that's the fucking problem. So
Greg at Velocity House Fires.
Yes, I'm going to light your house on fire and collect the insurance money. Helbeck. So now I just say like B as in boy, UYERS and Sam.com. So people don't fuck that up.
I was going to say, you rattled that off too smooth. I knew there was a story behind why you spelled that. I knew there was going to be something.
Because I do not light houses on fire unless I really don't like my tenants. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Thank you so much for taking time today. I'll let you get back to your evening and your real estate empire out in sunny San Diego. Oh, no, you're in New York.
I'm in New York right now. I'll be back in California. I'm going to Aruba. I'm going on vacation, and then I'm going to hang out in New York a little bit more. I'll go back to San Diego like mid-April.
Real estate's the best. Look at that.
Hey, man, that's the thing, man. People like, and we got houses closing from the beach next week, dude. So it is a lot of work. Once we hang up this call, I'm going to have some stuff to do before I exercise, which is important.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? You can fucking build your business in your life to be able to do shit like this.
However you want it.
However you want it, brother. I appreciate you letting me on the show, man. It was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to sharing this with my squad.
Oh, dude, I'm excited. Later, dude. Good luck.
See ya. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Later, Greg.
Bye-bye.